Okay, sorry again. Okay, this is the Scentsible Tribe Meetup. And we're going to talk about our connection to resilience. What does that mean? First, I'll introduce myself. So I'm a Young Living brand partner, just like many of you who are watching. And this is our optional choice as customers of Young Living to step into the lifestyle of sharing Young Living. So I started sharing January 1st, 2014. That was my, if you will, New Year's resolution, because I joined, like I said, November 30th, 2013 on Black Friday sale. And within a month, I was convinced and I was like, I'm doing this. So I founded the Scentsible Tribe, which most of you are a part of. And we can name our organization anything, your own name if you want. But I called it a tribe because I really wanted to create a community. And just to be sure, a community is when you join a group of people with the same intentions and goals and dreams. So it is open to all, but it is a choice to step in. So it's never exclusive. It's never about we are here and you are there. In fact, a lot of my message is around unity, not separation. So I just really wanted to reiterate that. So I am a diamond leader with Young Living, and we have about 25,000 members in the Scentsible Tribe. 85% are in Malaysia or have ties to Malaysia. So I'm really excited here to be in Kuala Lumpur, being with you all, and to really reassure you that we are thriving. Even if you individually are seeing numbers that you're not certain of, I'm here to say we are a community that thrives despite the numbers. So we have 5 diamonds, 17 platinums, and 71 golds in the Scentsible Tribe. So give yourself a little clap. Okay, so I mean, I'm complicated. There's more to who I am than that. I am a soul coherence guide. What that means, literally, it's about coming into alignment with your body, mind, and spirit. And in my experience, the number one thing that helps me do that with my clients, with myself, with my team is Young Living essential oils. So whatever I do, it's all about coming into alignment to our soul's path, to our divine destiny, if you will. But it is the oils that facilitate the frequency shift, the consciousness shifting, and the ability to reprogram our DNA. Gee, can someone shut the door? So I'm also a certified aromatherapy coach, certified raindrop technique specialist, and I'm a certified emotional wisdom with essential oils coach trainer. So I train alongside Dr. Carolyn Mine. You may have seen the Blue Book, and we train coaches to facilitate sessions for other people in emotional wisdom. Is that you? Okay. I can. Thank you. Let me make Serenia co-host. Okay. So with that, I'm a licensed spiritual healer and a certified Wayfinder life coach. So I'm not telling you all these things to tell you that you need to be certified to be a brand partner of Young Living. I'm just giving you an idea of the scope in which I work, and that as a member of the Scentsible Tribe, you have access to me. And there's always a virtual tea button on my website. You can always, and there's also a members only link. So I'm so happy to lead each and every one of you privately. And so I'm here for you. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the idea of community, the idea of resilience. And we have all been we've had a forced pause, right, in the last 3 years. Now we're starting to emerge. And so I want to just remind us that we have this community even online, right? And in the last 3 years, and now more in person. And this idea of resilience is really, the change that was put upon us that we had no control over. How well did we navigate that? And life is about change. And so it is in our body, mind, and our spirit that as we tend to those three, we are more able to ride the wave and keep evolving into whatever we're meant to do in this lifetime. So the body, mind, and spirit, the body is the physical body, mind is like the emotional body, the spirit is our energetic body. So I'm going to talk about all these three, mostly focusing on the emotional body today, but giving you a little bit of the other two. So I love to share inspirational quotes because most of the time, whatever we say has already been said by someone a lot better. So this guy, Jean Vanier, one of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. When we pool our strength and share the work and responsibility, we can welcome many people, even those in deep distress, and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. So would you agree that we have all stepped into this community because we are pooling our strength and working as a team? Yes. And again, what I like about this quote is it has all the elements. We're welcoming people. From what I said earlier, it's not about being exclusive. We have someone here who is not in our team, and she walked in today, and we're welcoming her with open arms. Even those in deep distress, we are going to help them find self-confidence and inner healing. And we have the plant friends to facilitate that shift for them. And we are just holding space for the people that are ready, right? Do y'all agree? Yes. Yes. Okay. So what is resilience? Yasmin Mogahed says, resilience is very different than being numb. Resilience means you experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, you fall, but you keep going. Okay, so why would she say resilience is very different than being numb? Because some people ride the wave by resigning themselves to what's happening. And this is very often mistaken when we say we need to learn acceptance. And someone with that mindset might say, oh, wait, acceptance means resigning. And that is not what we're talking about. Resigning is truly, literally becoming numb. And you can imagine like, okay, we went through COVID. I was just riding the wave, but I was paralyzed. I was numb. I didn't do anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't really tap into the opportunities, right? So it really does mean you have to experience, you have to feel, and you have to step into that idea of accepting the change, okay? So I'm gonna breeze through physical resilience because a lot of us already know through our education platforms what we do for our physical body. And like I mentioned earlier with how I started with Young Living, I started because I was targeting my physical body because there were visible blemishes and I didn't want to look ugly, right? So who here started with physical symptoms? Yeah, many of us. And the resilience we're talking about is our immune system. And our immune system, I'm just going to list four of my favorite things here: thieves, oregano, frankincense, ningxia red. And there's so much more, but we're going to pare it down. And I'm not even going to go into it because we all have access to all the education and the pocket reference. But suffice to say, when we support our immune system, we are supporting our ability to be resilient to change in seasons, right? Most of the time with my kids, it's the change in seasons that leads to vulnerability to whatever will take us down, right? So, and then the elimination system, because if we're not eliminating the toxins that we breathe in every day, that we take in with the food, that we have to compromise, because we can't always cook at home, we can't always choose organic, but we have our oils to help us with that elimination. So my 4 favorites here: Juva Cleanse, Dai, Citrus Fresh, Ningxia Red. Every single one of these, I take it internally in the Vitality blends. And with the immune system, I use it topically on my feet. I use it in teas. I also diffuse them and up and down my spine. So, right? Everyone's familiar with this. Let's move on. Okay, emotional resilience. Feel into healing. Now, why I bring this up is because for many of us as brand partners, or even whatever vocation you are pursuing in life, there is always seasons of amazing growth, and then seasons of decrease in sales, decrease in momentum. And what I really want to impart upon you is that it is cyclical. It is cyclical and it will always come back. But if we are stuck in moments of despair, in the moments when we're meant to actually pause and dream and bring into this realm our visions, then we lose the opportunity when the momentum picks up again, right? So when we resist change, that is when we suffer, right? Yeah. So many times, though, it's past programming that blocks us from moving forward. Our conscious mind actually understands, of course, there are cycles. Like we experience cycles every single day, from the micro to the macro. The micro being the sun rises every day, and it goes to noon, and it goes to evening, and it goes to night. At night, when we go to bed, do we ask ourselves, are we sure that the sun's going to rise tomorrow? No, because we know it, right? And then that moves out to the annual cycle. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the spring, summer, fall, and winter, right? And as long as humans have been farming, for instance, they have always trusted that spring will arrive. But they don't wait for spring to arrive before they plant their seeds. They have to plant the seeds in the last few weeks of winter, right? So as humans evolving through time, we have, in fact, it's a survival to plan ahead and know and trust that spring does come. And in fact, for fall, like we have to plan ahead because no winter is coming. And I know we're in Malaysia and maybe there's no seasons here, but we can all relate to that. Okay, so as this past programming blocks us, it is in our subconscious and we know it in our minds, but somehow there's something within us that is maybe grieving change or have no energy to move forward, lose motivation, right? And my experience is that using and partnering with the essential oils to address our subconscious mind has been the most effective in helping us to release those blocks and move forward. Has anyone experienced that before? Emotional release, yeah, yes, yeah. And as simple as maybe the block is, I don't know if I want to go work out today, and then we reach for motivation, and then we feel that energy, or we reach for energy or something, right? And we gain that motivation to go to the fitness class or to do some stretching. So that's a very simple example. So let's talk about emotional resilience. So Colleen Hoover says, we try so hard to hide everything we're really feeling from those who probably need to know our true feelings the most. People try to bottle up their emotions as if it's somehow wrong to have natural reactions to life. How many of you resonate with this? And So here the key word is for those who probably need to know our true feelings the most. So in our case, maybe it's our customers. Maybe it's reaching out and truly speaking what is on our minds. And it might be as I was in a space not truly connected to my emotions, and so I was stuck in whatever you want to put in depressive mood or anxious mood. And so when we are vulnerable and we allow ourselves to speak what was truly on our minds, so maybe we're saying this to a client and saying, I'm sorry I didn't get in touch before. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch for 12 months. This was what I was going through. Anyway, the point is that people respond to that. But instead of that, many of us will, sort of put on a brave front and say something like, but now I'm better, right? Or whatever, or now I have more time. And when it's not the truth, you are not truly touching the hearts of others. So just to, anyway, really say that to achieve emotional resilience, there must be the willingness to feel our feelings. Hi, morning. Okay, so I want to connect that to the 5-element theory of Chinese medicine. And I'm going to go through this really quickly. I always watch the recording to look at it again, but it's a great way for us to look at what is blocking us and how we can move forward with our oils. And I'm happy to share the PDF of this slide as well. Okay, so let's start in winter because we're in right now, in the Northern Hemisphere, and sort of as we celebrate Chinese New Year, which is supposed to herald in spring. And would you say we're also at the tail end of winter, having been in the COVID sort of restrictions, and we're coming out and it feels like spring is coming. And also we're in the beginning of 2023, which feels very promising and feels like we have been setting the foundation for it for the last 3 years. And so as we're ending this winter, just to let you know, it's related to the element of water and our kidneys. The kidneys is where we store our fear. And the emotion here is knowingness. So like I mentioned earlier, if we were in a harmonious state, in winter, we would tap deep into that knowingness because we know spring is coming. It's still dark, it's still cold, but there is a deep knowingness that spring is coming. But if we're not in harmony here, we tap into the fear of the unknown because we are questioning what is going to happen next. And the truth is, none of us knows what's going to happen next. We can trust that spring is coming, but we don't know when it will truly arrive because it is changeable, right? Throughout the years. We can have calendars and we can say it's this date, but Mother Nature has a way. So how can we transcend that fear and come into knowingness? So that is, again, the practice, which I will lead us through. So then as we move into spring, it is characterized by the element of wood. And honestly, this in itself is a 3-hour lecture, so I'm just going to breeze right through it. Just know that spring brings laughter. You see the flowers bloom. You see the seeds that you plant come up, and it brings this laughter into your being. But if we're not harmonious, we might be angry. And why is that? Because in winter, if we tapped into fear, we would not have acted, we would not have planted the seeds. When spring comes, we see other flowers blooming, we get angry because we didn't do what we were meant to do. We were stuck in that emotion, negative emotion. So anger is stored in the liver. Now, moving on to summer, this is characterized by the element of fire. And if we are in the harmonious stage, we feel connectedness to all that is. And what does that mean? It means that as we are seeing the height of the growth of the plants that we planted, we are sensing that our actions contributed to this. We are connected to all that is. And if we are not there, we might drop into loneliness. And loneliness is, a deep feeling in the heart that is very common for all of us. And so knowing how we can use it, use the modality to get out of that is very useful. And that moves on to late summer. So late summer is where it's still really hot, and this is abundance, because this is when truly all the plants have really come into full fruition, and we are tapping into that abundance, and we are about to harvest, right? So if we didn't tapped into all that, we are in this worry, because it's sort of like, what do I do now? Winter's coming, I haven't really prepared. And so we want to get out of that as well. It's connected to the spleen. And then we go into fall. So fall, you can think about the happy, where you're harvesting. You're happy because you have taken all the steps, and now you have the fruits of your labor. You have the literal fruits, right? Also, you can see like the leaves are orange and pink, and who likes to go and watch the fall leaves, like in Japan, for instance, right? It's beautiful. It brings this happiness into you. But again, if we didn't tap into that throughout the year, now we have grief. We have grief because we were worried at first, but now it's like, truly, we lost our chance. We're grieving the lost opportunity. We're grieving the death of whatever it is, a path that we didn't take, right? And so again, it's not too late. Like, we can start anywhere on that cycle, and we have the tools that gets us out of it. And then that goes into winter again. So there's also another cycle in here where, very simply, let's say the arrow from winter to summer. So water can restrain fire. So this is a restraining cycle. Water can restrain fire. So in other words, if we are in the fear of the unknown, we are going to be restraining that positive feeling of connectedness with all that is, and we might really be in loneliness. And fire, so another example is the fall, and the arrow goes into spring. So the metal, right, which is an axe there, can restrain wood. So you can cut wood, right? So if you are stuck in grieving, and mind you, none of these emotions are bad. It's just when we're stuck in it, right? We want to move through it. We don't want to suppress it, and we don't want to not feel it. So if we're stuck in grief, we eventually become really angry. And so it's going to suppress that emotion of laughter. It's just can't come out, So anyway, that's really briefly that. Does it all make sense so far? Yeah? Okay.
Grief is also a cycle in itself.
Yes, the grief has that process, right, of denial and acceptance. Yes.
So you will just
Cycle through. Yes. And so all of these are, if you have seen the blue book, it has hundreds of emotions. This is just 5, yeah? And the truth is, it is such a gentle process that, you just kind of pick and choose as you go along, but these give you a very nice foundation of where to start. Many times when I talk with someone about helping someone they're helping, they ask me, where do I start? So this is a great way to start. And from there, it reveals other emotions. The truth is, they have to be ready. So if someone is ready to address their emotions, then we use the oils for that purpose. However, the oils are amazing and they go into our subconscious regardless. Like I mentioned about frankincense helping me calm down, even though I was using it for my face, right? Or purification with anger. It really did work, even though I wasn't maybe intentional with it. So when we have people in a household, we just diffuse and just ask your friends to diffuse. You don't have to go into, right? Yeah, you don't have to go into the technicalities. And when you're ready, they will come to you. Okay, so we're gonna go through them and we may have time to do one or two of them. Okay, yeah. We have all known that long loneliness, and who hasn't felt loneliness or who has felt loneliness? Yeah. And we have learned that the only solution is love, and that love comes with community. So back again to the fact that we are part of a community, we can lean on each other. You can lean on me if there's no one else, So I'm going to talk about these 5 common emotions, and just to sort of give you a brief overview, okay? And the idea about emotional wisdom is that you are learning from your emotions. Your emotions are the messages that come from your body to tell you that something wants to be addressed. So, for instance, when pain shows up, it is asking to be released, to be moved through. So many of us, when we feel pain, we start to suppress it and we start to say, I don't want to feel pain. However, it must be understood that the only way it can be released is to move through it. Just like fear, you have to move through it, not suppress it. Okay, so learning from loneliness, we use white angelica on the heart point, and I'll give you more details. And the affirmation that is from Dr. Carolyn Mind's book, I go to a loving space so I can transmute my loneliness into connectedness with all that is. And when we follow the protocol, we are addressing our subconscious. And so many of us will go into, oh, wait, what does that mean? How do I implement this? Just trust and keep doing it. And the insights will come when you allow for the winter, whether it's winter of your day, winter of your month, winter of your year. The winter is the sacred pause, is when we go deep within and we allow for insights to come. And that means at night, for instance, when we go into dream state, you might wake up. Who wakes up sometimes with ideas like, oh, that is something I want to do today? Anybody? Yes? Yeah, I see some nods. Okay, yeah. When you use your oils at night and you intentionally go to bed asking for insights, that's what happens. Okay, so learning from worry, we use abundance on the esophagus point, and the affirmation is, I go to the depths so I can shift from worry into abundance. And learning from grief, using joy on the adenoids point, change brings growth. So I can move from feeling grief into being happy. Okay, adenoid. So I have all the charts coming up. I'll show you. Yeah. So learning from fear of the unknown, using sacred mountain on the pineal point. So listen to your heart so you can move from fear of the unknown into knowingness. And last one, learning from anger, using purification on the liver point. My direction is clear, so I can move away from anger and into laughter. So remember, anger was the wood, right? Spring. So if we learn from our anger when it was like watching other people's flowers bloom and ours not blooming, and we tapped into this, my direction is clear, we're going to take action immediately. Because our anger is showing us something needs to change, something needs to happen, whatever it is, right? But in a joyful state, with laughter, not with anger. So imagine if you took action in spring, there's still so much time to harvest in fall. But if you didn't, you stayed in anger, you're going to start getting worried, and then you're going to start, you go deeper and deeper, right? So, okay, just a metaphor. All right, so summer, fire, heart. Who wants to do, shall we go through White Angelica and do loneliness? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to pass this around. Yeah, let me give one over there.
Oh, yes.
How many drops? Just one drop sometimes. That's okay. So we're passing White Angelica around. If you have that at home, or if you're watching the recording, go ahead and go get it. So what we like to do, as we put it on our left palm, because the left side is the receiving side, you're going to circle it around 3 times clockwise. Go ahead and put it on the crown of your head and the back of your head. That's the crown and the filter point. I like when I do this, just close your eyes, get into a state of receptivity. So first we greet the essential oil blend. We send gratitude to the plant essence. And then we switch our hands, one on the forehead and one back of the neck. So back of the neck is the release point. And then here, this is just a ritual of mine. Then I go into receptivity. I open up my cells intentionally to receive, and I invite the molecules to enter. Okay, and then I will go to the heart point. In this case, it's right here on like your jaw, and you put it there. And we like to make sure you understand that the point is not very tiny. It's really about, this size. So don't feel too like you need to be too precise. Okay, now we sit up nice and tall, both feet on the ground. We start to inhale. And just a explanation, we do 9 breaths, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so I'll lead you through it. So feel the first breath in, feel the emotion of loneliness. Allow it to show up wherever it does in your body. All of us have felt this emotion before. As you exhale, let it go, so you're not holding on to it. Inhale again, calling up the emotion of loneliness. And feeling it, don't suppress it. As you exhale, let it go. You can visualize it coming out with your breath. You can visualize it coming through your legs into the ground. Inhale again. Last inhale here for feeling loneliness. Notice where it shows up. Go to that space in your body. Feel it. Exhale, let it go. And now as we inhale, we're going to tap into that feeling of connectedness with all that is. And most of us have felt this at one time in our lives, whether it's looking into the eyes of a beloved, being in a place of nature that's beautiful, being at the peak of a mountain, whatever it is, tap into that feeling. But as you exhale, you let that go. You're not attaching to that either. Inhale again. Where does connectedness with all that is show up? Exhale, let that go. Inhale again, inviting that emotion of connectedness with all that is to come into your body. You might notice you sit up a little straighter. You might notice you feel a little lighter. You exhale, you let that go. And again, we inhale, keeping that connection with all that is. We say to ourselves, I go to a loving space. Exhale, let that go. Inhale again. It's becoming a little more familiar, connectedness with all that is. I go to a loving space. Exhale, let that go. So one last time, inhale, still holding on to that feeling, calling up that feeling, and please say aloud with me, I go to a loving space. Exhale, you let that go. Let your hands fall down when you're ready. Just flutter your eyes open only when you're ready.
So even the connectedness and the statement.
Yes, you're in that emotion while you're saying that statement. So what I like to do after is to just shake out your hands. Whatever residue, just let it go. So we're reprogramming our cells here to really relocate what that feeling feels like, connectedness with all that is. And I go to a loving space. So the more we do it, the next step really is to muscle test how often to do this if we have that emotion of loneliness. And if you have a practice of muscle testing, go ahead and muscle test. Most of the time is morning and night, and then however many times in between during the day. And you can do it for the next 5 to 7 days, and that will really start to create a new groove in your neural pathways. Okay. Right. So next one is worry. Now, our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry, frustration, and resentment. Imagine how much energy you put or we put into the thoughts that go around and around and around. You know, they say that we think the same thoughts. Okay, thanks, Grace. The same thoughts day after day after day. 95% of the thoughts we think today are the same thoughts we thought yesterday. And it's mostly about worry and anxiety and frustration and resentment. And that is the reason for growth in our body that we put energy into. It starts to manifest itself as your thought form growing into a growth that we don't want. Okay, so worry. Late summer, earth, spleen. So here, we could be tapping into the abundance all around us, but we're worrying. So who wants to choose abundance over worry? Yes, okay. So we have the abundance essential oil. Who wants to go through this? We have time, right? Yeah. Shall we do it? Okay. I have 3 bottles. One drop, right? Yeah. One drop. So for those online, we're doing abundance now. Go ahead and find it. So as you get familiar with this, it's really, again, 3, 6, 9, 9 breaths. Strong, huh? Okay. Circle it around 3 times clockwise on the crown, back of head, greeting the plants that make up this blend. We don't need to know what they are, just kind of acknowledging them, sending them gratitude for their healing powers. Switch it over. Now you're inviting them into your cells. You're opening up your cells in your heart to receive. Okay. And now we're going to put it on our esophagus. You can tell it is somewhere right here. So you can reach in, or, you know, just energetically also works. But because we're all working with energy, you can just reach in and put it there. Right. If you have the book, you will notice that there are also hand points and foot points. So when you're working with someone, whatever's appropriate. Okay, Go ahead and inhale. Close your eyes, feet on the ground, nice straight spine. You're gonna tap into the emotion of worry. And this is gonna be worrisome. Just feel it, okay? Don't worry. I mean worry. Okay, inhale. Find worry. See where it sits, feel it, and then practice letting go. Exhale, let it go. It's coming out in your breath, coming out through your feet. Inhale again deeply, just calling out the emotion of worry. Exhale, let it go. Notice where it shows up when you say, when you call up the emotion of worry. Now inhale again. Allow it to percolate in there. You feel it. Exhale, you let it go. Now we're going to move into abundance. Abundance is the other side of worry. Okay? As you inhale, tap into that abundance. And if it's difficult, then think about the abundance of flowers. Think about the abundance of leaves, the abundance of sand in this world, the abundance of air that we can breathe. Tap into the abundance of Mother Nature and feel completely supported by her with this abundance surrounding you. And as you exhale, also let that go. We do not cling on even to the good. Inhale again. Abundance. This is abundance. Notice when you become a part of abundance, how it makes your body just sit up taller, brighter, lighter. Exhale, let it go. Inhale again. Where does abundance show up for you? How does it feel? And then let it go. And now as you inhale and you call up abundance, you tell yourself, I go to the depths. Exhale, let it go. Inhale again, feeling abundance all over. And I go to the depths. Exhale, let that go. One last time, inhale. Where is abundance showing up? I go to the depths. Completely feel it within you. Repeat after me aloud. I go to the depths. And then exhale, let that go. Take your time to come back to the present. And we're going to shake it out. How does that feel? Anybody want to share anything? I have an oil bag to give away. Who wants to come up and say something about loneliness, about abundance, about worry, and how you feel? Anybody? Sarini? Yes, you got to come here though.
Oh, okay. I just want to say something about the practice because I have to say that in Islam,
Go ahead.
oops, for that,
Your mic.
oh, okay. Looks like a candy bar. Anyway, in Islam, I'm just talking specifically because my team is majority Muslim. We don't actually practice the affirmations. So instead of using the oils, I mean, I'm just talking to my team there who's like live, that if you are going to use the oils, you can use it paired with du'as, right? So instead of having affirmations, you can pair it with du'as, but then don't make it like a practice per se, because then it will be, for us, it will be syirik lah. So use it as a form of a tool. For example, like when you are having a fever, you will reach for Panadol traditionally. but us oilers will reach for lemon and peppermint, right? So similarly, if you have like a mental health issue or something that you want to let go of or something that you want to change with regards to your mental health, you can use the oils, the emotional oils. It's a bit tricky for us, but use it as a form of tool. So your niyat is really super important in how you're going to use the oils. That's what I'm going to say. So adding to that, for worry especially, I usually use valor because worry comes from fear, right? So and in fear is valor is the antidote for fear. It's like because you're worried about a lot of things, and then worry comes from all sorts of fear, and you are conscious or subconsciously know what those fears are, irregardless. Valor is, for me, is really good in addressing that. Yeah, so how I do it is I just put it on my spine from my tailbone up to my neck, and then on my wrist, and then just smell it. Yeah. So part of that practice is also expanding your comfort zone. So a lot of us, especially in the last 2 years, because we are all locked up in our houses, we feel very comfortable there. And when changes come and there's no more pandemic, there's an endemic going on now. I mean, there's like people treat COVID like flu nowadays. You tend to feel, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it feels really scary to go out there sometimes, right? I just want to stay at home. You know, that's where I'm most comfortable in the past 2.5 years. But then use valor to expand that growth, that comfort zone, and go into zones of growth. So zones of growth is usually just beyond your comfort zone. It's a little bit scary to go there, but it's worth it. Yeah. So do things that you are scared of doing or that scares you. Like go bungee jumping or something. Right? So extreme. Mountain biking. Yeah. So do things that scares you a little and push that boundaries further. With that practice and coupled with the oils and coupled with everything else, you know, taking care of your health, your sleep, your diet, all of that. Inshallah lah, God willing, you will be able to let go of that worry. Yeah. That's me with worry.
Wait.
Whoa.
Thank you.
All right.
You're gonna get
Oh,
oils.
yeah, oil.
Oils.
Can I be?
Yeah.
Lavender.
Okay, let me take this.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay.
Immediately buka. Because this is like my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah? Yeah.
So thank you. Oh, Karen, yes. 1 second. Thank you, Sarini. And I definitely want to be very respectful of, you
Yes.
know, what resonates with you and your religion,
Yes.
and do what is comfortable for you. And also know that affirmations, I mean, they're just changing our thoughts.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we tell ourselves things that is not honorable to our self-worthiness. So practicing affirmation, you can also make up your own, whatever feels good to you. She came up with these, but it's not absolute. Nothing is ever absolute. We tailor everything to our own truth and our own integrity. Okay, so thank you, Sarini, for sharing that with us. Okay, so let's see, where are we? I'm just gonna go through, but maybe we will skip a little bit of these. So grief can be the garden of compassion. If you keep your heart, wait, hold on, we'll have you up here in a minute, okay? If you keep your heart open through everything, your pain can become your greatest ally in your life search for love and wisdom. Yeah. So grief can be really painful and almost always associated with loved ones passing. It can also be what we're stuck in if it is grieving a situation in the past that we're not willing to let go. An example of this in our brand partner business is saying or really clamping onto that, the history, right? It's like, oh, in this year 2019 or 2020, my OGV was this number, and now I'm this number. Every day I'm grieving that loss. And then we're losing the opportunity of moving forward in today, right? But what does it mean to be the garden of compassion? The truth is, it's coming up for a reason, right? It is not just, oh, go away, I don't want to think that. It's saying there's something within you that needs to be nurtured. So when we're compassionate to ourselves and we say, yes, it is such a loss that we have a lower OGV today. How can I be compassionate to myself instead of judging myself, instead of blaming myself, right? A lot of that thought process comes with blame. It's like, oh, must be because I did something wrong. I didn't do enough. Yeah. I should something else, or oh, we start to blame others. Oh, it was that person in my team when she said that was what happened, So the truth is, compassion is the key to a lot of us moving out of these stuck. Okay, so this is the fall season, the metal and the lungs, so grief, and we breathe with joy, and we will put it on our adenoids. Someone asked earlier, adenoids are this part of the nose.
The sinus point.
It's like the sinus, yeah. And because it's kind of connected to our lungs, it makes sense. It is our sinus point, because when we breathe in, it helps us to transmute that grief. And then we say the statement, change brings growth, right? We want to reprogram that into our brain in the neural pathways, instead of saying, I yearn for the past. Now the situation has changed. Change will bring growth. Okay, next one. So fear of the unknown. By replacing fear of the unknown with curiosity, we open ourselves up to an infinite stream of possibility. We can let fear rule our lives, or we can become childlike with curiosity, pushing our boundaries. So Sarini talked about pushing our boundaries into the growth zone, leaping out of our comfort zones, and accepting what life puts before us. So this is Alan Watts. What does this mean to be curious? So most of the time when we have fear of the unknown, which honestly is, fear is the basis for most of our negative emotions. And when we have fear, we don't want to step out of our comfort zone. But if we're curious, if I say, what will happen if I go live today on YouTube? Will I get a random stranger sort of like, oh, wait a minute, they're talking about something that's interesting, right? So if I allowed fear to rule me, I would say, oh, but I don't want to open myself up to criticism. What if I don't say the right thing? What if the tech issue, whatever, right? So childlike curiosity, that is something that we can all tap into. And here we use Sacred Mountain. So Darren just got Sacred Mountain for free. Sacred Mountain is Very Young's favorite oils because he blended it to smell like the mountain, the trees in the mountain. So every time he went to the mountains to sit and to meditate, he would use this oil. So fear of the unknown is at the pineal point. And that's interesting because the pineal gland is the master gland for all the hormonal processes in our body. And it is also where we are receiving sort of insights, if you will, inspiration. So when we can tap into that knowingness, we start to receive more ideas, more creative ideas. And it says, listen to your heart, because that is also connected to our heart, where our heart tells us what our next best step is. And most of us ignore it because we tend to go into the logic and reasoning. It's like, oh, that's stupid. Why would I do that? You know, nobody will come, all that nonsense. Okay, before I go any further, I want to ask if you will come up and give us a little story. And then I have an oil for you. That's very nice.
Abundance that I personally experienced. I wanted to forward to we can move forward. I didn't have the belief in myself, and my leader told me, you use abundance every day. Just put one drop on your head here daily every morning. So I started doing that on the 1st of October, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and I was doing literally every day and telling myself, I can do it, I can do it. And in the next 3 weeks, which was 21st of October, I became an executive. So I was very happy that something that I was telling myself that I can't do it, but I did it. So I have to believe in abundance. So yeah, it really works. It's not a magic in one day, but yeah, it does.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, I have an oil for you.
Yeah, it's not magic, right?
Mm.
It's coupled with your hard work as well.
Yes, yes.
Acceptance.
Woo! Wait. I have the speaker there. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, just to reiterate what Sarini says, or what Sharon Spice said, it's not magic. However, magic is when we work in this physical world to bring our dreams into manifestation. Yes, yeah, and the oils help with that because they're literally chemically reprogramming our thoughts. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Therefore, I do it. Okay. Moving on. Next is anger, right? People won't have time for you if you're always angry or complaining. From Stephen Hawking. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
Preach the stuff.
So there was a time when there was a lot of complaining. And you know, granted, ongoing, is it ongoing? Yeah. But however, we can choose to be models and examples for our team members, and we don't get into the complaining of what other people are. We look for solutions, right? And so we are in a business of relationships. And how do we foster relationships? By talking. And if we have programmed in our brain always a default of complaining and anger, it's going to come out in our relationship building with others. And they'll be like, you know what, that other gal also sells Young Living. I'm going to go to her instead. You know, so be aware of how we speak and allow it to become so much a part of us. It's not a hypocritical way of being with, I want her to be my customer, so today I'm going to be very positive, you know, or something. Yeah. So we are practicing this because we want to become the better person that we want to be in the world, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is anger. It's related to spring, to wood, to our liver. We use purification. Remember the story, I'm going to reiterate it because earlier there was no volume, but I started using Young Living. I used frankincense and purification on my face because I had blemishes. Turns out purification is the oil for anger. What I noticed was that my road rage incidents dropped. Okay, I'm not like taking a baseball bat out, okay? I'm just honking at people.
You're a hunter.
A honker. Yeah, like I said, if we're at a red light, I'll give you half a second. If you don't move, I'm gonna honk at you. So it really, I noticed that it went down. Yeah, you too? No, right? You can't imagine me. Yes, that's right. Because I worked on myself. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, purification. And here's another thing. The point is the liver meridian, which is on our nipples. So you can't help but laugh when you do it. Yeah, you do it in your bathroom, you know. And again, there's a hand point or feet point if we're doing it with a client.
Wouldn't it be pedas when you put purification on?
No.
Huh?
No, even if
Oh my
little
God,
pedas, it makes you like smile, laugh. Yes, but just on the side, one of the self-love practices I really enjoyed is, you know, our palm is, this point is connected to the heart. So when I put oil here, it can be other oils, but purification, and you put it right on your nipple, both hands, do it in your bedroom, whatever, and you just tap into this self-love. It's very, very powerful. It's as powerful as you looking in the mirror, you know, Louise Hay's work of looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. Hold yourself with no,
Oh, because of that.
yeah, very powerful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so just to summarize, right? We learn from our emotions and we transmute it. Okay, so today we're gonna end with this spiritual resilience. Now, when I talk spiritual, I don't mean religion, I mean our energetic body. An energetic body can be measured by our frequency, right? So how high we vibrate. And we know that our essential oils vibrate at really high frequency, and it has been measured, rose being the highest. Everybody wants rose, right? And here's what I want to say about spiritual resilience. Stay inspired. Stay with, see this picture here? I wanted to show it because gathering in circles, gathering with other brand partners in your team, around a fire, in your backyard, whatever it is, will help you to stay inspired because we're here for each other. We can not complain to each other, but we can encourage each other, right? So, but also, I wanted to give you a couple of practices as you are doing it at home. So inspiration means to inspire. To inspire means to breathe. Our breath is the quickest way to get us into a higher frequency. And brilliant, right? That we have our oils to inhale while we do that. So, I mean, our oils just fit into all parts of our lives. I just cannot emphasize that even more. So breath work to connect to our energetic body. I can lead you through a very quick breath work. And then also to say forgiveness is the greatest gift of all you can give yourself and that you can give others. I'm not saying to ask others for forgiveness. I'm saying to ask yourself for forgiveness, to forgive yourself and to forgive others. Because many people misinterpret this and say, I'm not going to call my brother up and ask him for his forgiveness. I don't even want to talk to him, you know, but no, this is a practice you practice yourself. You forgive yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think, but the magic here is that we have noticed when we do this practice, other people start to open up to us that we may not have been talking to before. Yeah, this is a quantum world. We can feel it. So, and we are our own musical instruments. We can tune our own energy by singing. So I brought my ukulele today and I'm gonna get us all to sing. Yeah, okay, you have to sing with me, okay? Because I'm taking a big leap here in courage. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Lava song.
Hmm?
Lava song.
No, this is a forgiveness practice. After we sing, then we're gonna close our eyes and we're gonna breathe. And then we're done, okay? Okay, here. Forgiveness practice. 4 lines, very simple. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me and thank you. Okay? Even if you don't want to open your mouth to sing with me, at least say it inside. And you're going to say it to yourself. You're going to say it to your higher power. You're going to say it to the people that you have had some, you know, how do you say, friction with in the past. Whatever it is, we're going to sing it 3 times. Okay, 3 is always a magic number. And then after that, we're going to sort of just breathe, and then that will be what I want to present today. I'm going to pass around forgiveness. Now, we won't go through the whole forgiveness with the emotional release. I'm just showing you here. But just use it, put it on your heart, maybe, wherever you like. So just a quick survey. Nothing. Who here finds the idea of forgiveness a little difficult? Yeah, okay. So be gentle with yourself, be compassionate, and don't force yourself. Okay, just get into the rhythm of what we're singing. Everybody have? Okay. Okay. And please excuse me if I sing out of tune. But that's something I've been really getting into lately is singing. Okay, so I'm gonna sing and like call and response. Okay, you just sing after me. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. Okay, now you can sing together. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. Okay, let's sing one more time. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And I thank you. Okay, just close your eyes. And you're gonna breathe in for 7 counts. Hold it for 7 counts. Exhale for 7 counts. We're gonna do this 7 times. Inhale again, 7 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 7. Inhale, 7. Hold for 7. Exhale for 7. Inhale for 7. Hold it at the top. Exhale, 7 counts. Inhale again. Hold it at the top for 7 counts. Exhale it for 7. Inhale, 7 counts. Hold it at the top. Exhale for 7. Last time, inhale for 7. Hold it. And exhale for 7 counts. And go back to normal breathing. Just put your hands on your heart, sending forgiveness to yourself, to whoever you're ready to forgive, and even asking for forgiveness. And we always end it with thank you, thank you, thank you. You're ready. You can open your eyes. Okay, how are you feeling? We have space for one more person to come up and tell us about your forgiveness practice or anything you want to share. Annie? Okay, perfect. I got a lot more oil to give out.
So thank you, LeeYen, for being here today. It's great reminders and good perspective. And so, we have a mix of people here. I think it's all about energy, yeah, as what LeeYen mentioned. And so, in whichever way, it's about conditioning. So therefore, it shouldn't be treated as magic because the oil molecules, if we use them many times a day, it reconditions how we feel. And honestly, every decision in our lives comes basically from how we feel, right? And every big change in our lives. For me, the past 2 years has been quite a trip. Yeah, as for most of us. So there was a lot of personal processes and personal growths, But I can say that, through the highs and through the lows, the oils, I could never do without. And I'm so, so grateful. Yeah. One of the big things I like to use in line with what LeeYen has shared is fleece oil. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things, and I've been doing that every single night. Yeah, just putting it on the soles of my feet. So whether it's a good day or a bad day, I feel like we should hold on to it because nothing is ours at the end of the day. Yeah, because if we hold on to good things, then the next day we might miss the other better things that come about because we're so fixed on what happened well the days before. Yeah. And whatever that's bad, of course, we want to release it. So I feel that is a really, really important oil for me. Yeah, and from Frances Fuller, I spent some time with her recently in Bali. And she's one that has always put it in me that the leaf oil is the oil to use every single day. Yeah, if you've ever come in close proximity with Frances, You are never without a belief shower from her. It's just in her pocket anytime and everywhere. She just has belief everywhere. And I find it really helps. So for me, together with abundance, belief, and peppermint, I like to put it first thing on my spine in the morning after my morning shower. And I've been doing that for the past few years. I find it's helpful. It shifts our mindset to be more positive. You know, some days it's hard to go from really traumatic, negative experiences to positive. So the oils help at least to help us accept what we cannot change. And we might not feel like elated or positive right away. It's not magic, but it helps us to bridge it. Helps us to feel acceptance. And also because acceptance is the first part to change, right? And also it helps me to feel in harmony. Okay, if I'm feeling bad, I think most of the time we're stuck on feeling bad, and it's a default programming. It's not our fault. It's a default programming of being human. Okay, so we must be aware of that default programming, and we know how to guide it, not to change it. Might sound a bit too drastic sometimes, yeah, but to guide it out of it. Yeah, so it helps me at least to feel in harmony with what is. Okay, I'm feeling bad. So I'm feeling bad. I'm human. Because most of the time when we're feeling bad, we feel like we want to resist it. We don't want it. And actually, it's like a dog chasing its tail, because then it becomes another form of attachment to resisting feeling bad. Do you know what I mean? And that takes a longer time to come out of, right? But if we can work with harmony with human, today is a bad day. Oh, I need to cry. Right? I need to feel anger, feel it for a while, because we're human. Okay, so I find that always help with that. So I hope it's been helpful. It's all a learning journey for all of us. Yeah, I'm so happy that LeeYen did this class for all of us to come face to face again. Yeah, thank you very much, LeeYen. Thank you. Wait.
Oil.
I got oil. Thank you. Thank you.
Favorite.
I think I'll give everybody a drop, huh?
Yes. Sarini, you had something to say, right?
She already covered it lah.
She covered it, okay. I'm gonna,
Acceptance.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love learning from all of you because we all have something to add, right? So Penny, Michelle? Okay.
It is very watery.
Not that watering. Okay, forgiveness practice. So things happen, couple of years. So during the COVID, things happened at home. So my husband was going through a rough patch, and someone told me about this. And I said, how can I use this to help him? Right? It's someone else. So she said, just do it. So I said, okay, I'll just do it. So I've been using the Billy Kids, and I've been repeating this. And there are days when I go next to him and I whisper it. So he doesn't really hear it, but
So you almost.
yeah, yeah. So I stand next to him and go like, I'm so sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. You know, I love you. And I just repeat that. And I think I did it every day for maybe 30, 40 days, twice, 3 times a day. He's not aware because he's so grumpy, he's so depressed, and he is just lashing out, you know, it's like, go away. I'm like, okay, I go away, I sit next to him further away, you know, I can hand him his tea, and I whisper that, and I whisper that. I put oils on my hand, and I are you okay today, darling? You know, so, yeah. And joy, right? To bring joy to him. So when I'm hanging up his laundry,
With his underwear.
I have this spray bottle with joy. And I miss his clothes. And he's like, what the heck are you doing? I'm like, just making your clothes smell good. Right? And
Oil witch.
yeah, you know, he doesn't know. I just spray and I said, I don't have any, you know, those nice smelling stuff. So this is something that I do. So he just walks off. And 30 days, 40 days later, he emerged. He's like, I'm feeling better today. I'm like, great, let's go. Can we have coffee? We haven't gone out for coffee like a long, long time. So this works. The oils definitely work. Through that, I was using the oils of the female kids and also joy. A lot of joy.
Good morning.
Okay, I'll show you. Got it. Awesome.
you.
Okay. Penny, you want to say something? Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so it's really good that yeah, LeeYen, thanks for doing this. Because it's been a while since I've met some of you guys eating. Super retreat. Yeah. And you know, hi, missing you guys. Yeah. Pauline, yes, and Darren, yeah. So to bring us back all here together, it's a great thing. I just want to say thanks to that. And it's very interesting, the first person who came and shared, Sarini, I had the exact same sharing, but from a different perspective. I mean, I'm a Christian, so it's very rare that I attach any mantras to my thoughts, because all things come from him. But definitely all things come from him are my thoughts as well, and you know, reflections and resources, right? So when I think of oils from that perspective, it's a totally different thing, you know. So yeah, it came from him. So it's very, yeah, and it's very interesting that I've been using certain emotional oils like gratitude, like joy, like motivation. I don't think of it as an affirmation or mantra, but I just think about feelings of gratitude, you know, and I can't decide how's that, you know, how does that smell? How does gratitude smell, right? But when we somehow think of those things, that feeling does do come out, you know. And it was interesting. I can't remember what I was thinking that day, but just before she do that, you know, I used an oil and I did use gratitude, and I was like, let's just send LeeYen a message, you know. And that was when I said, hey, I can't remember the exact message, but just thinking about you, you know, wondering if you're going to be back for APAC, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm actually coming back for Chinese New Year. And that's a couple of days, you know. I'm like, oh, wow, you know, same thoughts traveling at the same frequency, right? So that's my sharing on how I use emotional oils. Don't really attach a mantra to it, but I guess I draw from him, and I access it through him. And the oils was a great help, you know, for me to, you know, for me to be able to access that. For sure, I know that, like I said, I can't feel I don't know how that feeling of gratitude feels. I mean, smell or joy smells. But for some reason, it just conjures it up, right? So yeah, that's what I want to share. And thank you for allowing me to do that. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
Grounding.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything? Okay. Yes. Elijah says, my abundance story is also to apply one drop on the crown daily and think abundance, inviting positive flow always. With this, I always get a parking spot when I go to a shopping mall, even when my friends updates that they had to go around looking for one. Yes. I will tell my husband, say, you go in, I will park, because he cannot find parking, but I can. Yeah. Okay, so just to finalize, stay in touch, and my websites, LeeYenAnderson.com, Instagram, I'm Scentsible Tribe. Most of you are friends of mine already. You can send me a friend request or follow my profile. And yeah, I host retreats using essential oils all the time, and also the coach trainer program. So yeah, I look forward. Have one here in KL. I know, I thought about it this time. Yeah. Yes. Lots of travel in the future, I'm sure, and we will meet again. Hi, kid. Hey, I just noticed you there. You want to say anything? Not today. Okay. So yeah, thank you all, and I'll be around. So if you haven't gotten anything, take 3 things from there, and then whatever's left, anybody want it, take it. It's my gift to you, my abundance practice. So thank you. Yes, anyone to add something?
Yeah, if you guys have time. I think throughout this few years that I've used the oils and gone through different things, yeah. Just a reminder, I know all of you know probably, but sometimes with the coming down from this crazy peak we had, I'm sure all of us went through emotionally a difficult time with the business, yeah. So, and the tendency is like we want to change the outside. We can't understand why people are not using it, why they're not buying it, such good products, which is the truth, right? We want to change the outside. But I've learned that we have to change ourselves first, because if we're in that state of mind where, like LeeYen has just said, we have so much fear, so much everything, right? What comes across, energetic, is confusion and unclarity. So one oil that I never go without is definitely clarity every single day. And also, I do a lot of yoga and meditation, so that helps. And it's the same for all your faiths. If you're in a state of prayer, it's like meditation. It's just a state of clarity. Yeah. And I have manifested. So before we go into manifestation, we should try and clear ourselves. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, because I have manifested quite a few things. It's like magic. Yeah. And I thank the oils. I thank my practices. Yeah, I've manifested about a year ago. Just to share, if we have time, just to hopefully inspire all of us. So I have this workspace you all might know. It's called PDHQ at Plaza Arcadia. And I decided one day, I was staying there 2 years for the COVID. And I woke up one day and I'm like, I've always thought about going to live in Bali. So I'm just gonna go. I have to rent out the space because my mortgage on it is a lot. Yeah? So I acquired just at the end of 2023, 2022, at the end of 2021, December, I remember. We were just coming out of lockdown and I acquired. The market rate was for my unit size about 60,000 ringgit per month rental that I could get for it. I was like, no, my unit 12,000, because I was paying at 12,000 when we get engaged, right? So I said, I'm gonna rent it out as it is, because I spent 8 months working with a contractor. I'm quite a good contractor dictator, you know, with design and stuff. And they cannot change anything about my unit. They can't even change the paint color. They can't. The tenant has to take my unit as is with all the chairs, TV, everything. They don't need to spend a single cent if they have the need for my unit. Right, so I told my neighbor who has about the same size as my unit, and he's a realtor. He said, you market my place for me now. And he rented his place out 2 months before me, 2 months before lockdown release, at about 67,000. I was really happy, right? I said, how much do you want? I said, 10,000. Like, are you crazy? Do you know the market? Yes, I know the market. But you know my unit is not the same as your unit. It's more beautiful. Okay. We always go at each other like that. So what I did was I meditated every single day. Okay. And I used the oils before meditation, especially clarity, valor, and gathering. Okay, I've learned from Francis also that gathering is such an important oil. Because abundance I've already used every day. So I put gathering on the heart and I said, okay, just bring me the right people. The people who have the needs, the tenants who have the need, such a need for this. Because if I find the perfect tenant who has the need, I save him money. He doesn't need to renovate a few 100,000 to take my unit. He doesn't need to spend a few 100,000 to take out everything when he gives me back the unit. I just need to find the right person, right? So then I said, send me the right people. And I did that and I visualized. Okay, bank statement, correct column, credit, not debit, 12,000. I saw it very clearly every single day. Yeah, I just saw it like without stress, just like, okay, this is what it is. And then and then on the physical side, because that's the energetic body, on the physical side, you still have to do physical work. So I went into looking for agents and I reached out to 24 agents. And I wrote a whole blurb because the agents here, they don't know how to market this kind of units. Yeah, I wrote a whole blurb, I took very nice photos and I gave it to them. And so all they have to do is copy and paste, right? And what kind of industries to look for, what kind of industries not to look for. So within a month, 30 days, I keep you know. Guess what? My tenants pay me. And then on top of the 12,000 per month, I've also manifested. I didn't want a nightmare tenant. You don't care about one nightmare, right? And I didn't want the stress of chasing somebody for my rental and then got problem, this, that, they abuse my unit. You know, I put a lot of love into the unit. So I manifested that I have this perfect tenant that pays me on the first week of every single month without me asking. Today is 1 year, my tenant is perfect. You never have to chase, right? And I found the tenant within one month. I did it every single day, the energetic work and the physical work, because we still live in the physical world. Right? I have another story about Bali. We're looking for land. It was like virtually impossible to find land at that price with all the criteria that I needed. And I went to Goddess Durga. Because I practice a lot of yoga and I just somehow got very connected to that temple. It's a temple where there are no tourists and it's in the trees. You have to climb up, it's in the banyan trees. And if you don't know the mythology of the goddess Durga, she is in the Ramayana and there was this demon that was really like crazy and nobody could get rid of the demon. So they sent Durga and she killed the demon. So she's always depicted as the protector, the destroyer, and the warrior. Okay, so somehow I felt very connected to her. And so when my daughter came to this, I said, come, let's go to Goddess Durga and make offerings. So I bought all the Balinese offerings. And I said, you just put yourself, because my daughter meditates in this beautiful guys and Chico. And I said, you put yourself in a clear, calm state. Now that's very important. When you ask for something, you cannot be confused. Cannot be unclear. So if we are in a state of confusion and unclearness, the first thing is not to ask for anything. First thing is to find a way with oils, practices, prayers to make ourselves unconfused and clear first. Okay, otherwise, the universe or God or whatever, right, sound to all confusion. Understand? It must be clear, crystal clear. Yeah, and without like want. It's just like you just see it. It's like as though it's happening in a very calm, happy, peaceful state. That's the type of energy you should do when you're manifesting, right? So I said, I will also ask for this yoga. I told her, you ask for whatever you want. I will also ask for this yoga for whatever. So I asked her. I said, I want this piece of land, this area, this size, this zone, this price, which is virtually impossible, 5-10 minutes within Uber Center, blah, blah, blah. Very precise, huh? For jungle or rice fields, because I want to be in nature, right? For jungle or rice fields. And then, that's this piece of land that has both jungle and rice fields. And if you don't know the zoning laws that's happening in Uber is virtually impossible, and at a price. So the next day I go back again, bring offering. Yeah, so I mean, there's still some legalities that's not clear, but it's like magic to me. So when we talk about magic, I look back and it is magic, but also I did my work. It didn't just come. I did the energetic work in meditating, using the oils, being clear, whatever you want to pray to, or what you believe in, just be clear to them. And I did that. Right, and in my meditation, I visualized the land and I just did that. But then I also did a lot of hard work by reaching out to a lot of middlemen and going to see a lot of land on the scooter, in the rain, in the sun, everything. Okay, so you need to still put in the physical work, but it does work when we're clear. And so I hope that's inspiring and that you will use the practices in whichever way and the words they really do work. Okay? All right, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so there are many, many, many synchronicities when we get into the flow of living in alignment with your soul's purpose. And so I hope you all get to experience that too. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, we're gonna stop the recording here. Thank you all for being here. Bye.